Tonight we explore a story of ambition, steel and water. A new waterway carved through Central America, the Nicaragua Canal. With a $50 billion price tag, this project aims to rival the legendary Panama Canal and reshape global trade. China is at the helm, extending its influence into America's traditional sphere. The canal would stretch 173 miles, longer, wider and deeper than Panama's. Built for the world's largest ships. For Nicaragua, it promises jobs and economic transformation, but the risks are as great as the promises. For China, it's a bold declaration of global power, securing a trade artery independent of U.S. control. For the U.S., it's a direct challenge to a century of regional dominance. The canal is a new front in the rivalry between Washington and Beijing. The story began with a mysterious Chinese billionaire and a controversial deal with Nicaragua's government. Marked by grand announcements, protests, and long silences, the project is back in the spotlight in 2025 with renewed Chinese interest. Is this a nation-lifting engineering marvel, or a geopolitical gamble with devastating costs? The truth is complicated. Tonight we unravel the facts, the players, and what's truly at stake. This is more than a canal. It's a test of ambition, power, and the future of a nation. Let's dive in. The dream of a Nicaraguan canal is centuries old. Lake Nicaragua, the region's largest, made the country a natural candidate for a transoceanic passage. Spanish conquistadors first imagined it as a shortcut for gold and silver. In the 1800s, the California gold rush fueled demand for a faster route between U.S. coasts. Cornelius Vanderbilt even ran a transport company across Nicaragua, making it the main route for a time. The U.S. seriously considered building its canal here, but politics and clever lobbying shifted the project to Panama. A French lobbyist famously used Nicaraguan volcano stamps to scare U.S. lawmakers about seismic risks. In 1903, the U.S. backed Panama's secession and secured the canal zone. The Panama Canal opened in 1914, sidelining Nicaragua's dream. For over a century, commerce flowed through Panama, leaving Nicaragua to wonder what might have been. Yet the canal dream never died. It became a symbol of lost opportunity and national identity. It waited for a new, powerful patron to revive it. That patron would eventually come from across the Pacific. The stage was set for a new chapter in this centuries-old quest. The world would soon watch as Nicaragua's canal dream was reborn. And this time, the stakes were global. To grasp the Nicaragua Canal's significance, we must first understand the Panama Canal. Opened in 1914, it was a marvel that cut the New York-San Francisco journey by 8,000 miles, revolutionizing global shipping. The U.S. controlled the canal for most of the 20th century, wielding immense strategic and economic power. The canal zone became a flashpoint, symbolizing American imperialism and sparking protests in Panama. In 1977, President Carter signed treaties to return the canal to Panama, completed in 1999. Panama has since run the canal successfully, making it the backbone of its economy. In 2016, Panama expanded the canal to accommodate larger ships, but even now, the biggest vessels, post-Panamax and Suezmax, can't fit. Water supply is a growing concern, with climate change threatening the canal's future. These limitations make a Nicaraguan competitor attractive to global shippers in China. A new, larger, sea-level canal could bypass Panama's bottlenecks. For China, it's a chance to secure trade routes and reduce reliance on U.S.-influenced infrastructure. For Nicaragua, it's a shot at economic transformation. The world is watching to see if history will repeat or be rewritten. The stakes have never been higher. The next move could change the map of global trade. In 2013, Nicaragua granted a 50-year canal concession to HKND, a Chinese company led by Wang Jing. The deal promised China a strategic foothold in the Americas, fitting its Belt and Road ambitions. The project included a canal, ports, an airport, and free trade zones, meant to transform Nicaragua's economy. But after Wang Jing's fortune collapsed in 2015, progress stalled. Now, with renewed Chinese state interest, the canal is back on the table, and the world is watching. By the late 2010s, the Nicaragua Canal seemed dead. HKND vanished, jobs never materialized, and locals were left in limbo. Protests erupted over fears of land loss and the destruction of Lake Nicaragua, the country's main freshwater source. The government's secretive deal fueled accusations of selling out national sovereignty. Environmental and social impact studies were delayed or hidden, raising alarms among scientists. Dredging Lake Nicaragua could devastate ecosystems and contaminate water for millions. The canal's route would displace tens of thousands, many from indigenous communities. In 2021, Nicaragua switched diplomatic ties from Taiwan to China, bringing it firmly into Beijing's orbit. President Ortega revived canal talks, now focusing on state-to-state cooperation with China. The 2013 concession remains valid, and Chinese state companies are reassessing the project. Land expropriation has resumed, and new survey teams are on the ground. The $50 billion price tag still looms, but now with Chinese state banks likely involved. The dream is being revived, this time with the full weight of the Chinese state. The stakes and the risks are higher than ever. Nicaragua stands at a crossroads. The canal's revival is about more than economics. It's a geopolitical chess move. For China, a second canal secures trade and energy routes, reducing reliance on U.S.-influenced Panama. It's a direct challenge to the Monroe Doctrine and U.S. dominance in the region. A Chinese-backed canal would give Beijing a strategic foothold just miles from U.S. shores. Washington is deeply concerned, but options are limited. For President Ortega, the canal is a political lifeline, promising development and a powerful ally in China. The alliance shields his regime from U.S. pressure. Neighboring countries are wary. Costa Rica fears environmental fallout. Panama fears lost revenue. For Latin America, it signals a shift toward a multipolar world with new partners and investors. The balance of power in the Americas is shifting. For world powers, the canal is a strategic line. For Nicaraguans, it's a line through their homes and lives. Tens of thousands face displacement: farmers, ranchers, and indigenous communities with deep roots in the land. Lake Nicaragua, the heart of the project, is Central America's largest freshwater source. Dredging a deep channel could turn its clear waters murky, devastate fish populations, and threaten drinking water for millions. The canal would cut through rainforests and wetlands, disrupting wildlife and ecosystems. Construction would require moving billions of tons of earth, an environmental cost that's hard to fathom. Activists say the official environmental assessment was rushed and inadequate. The government has used controversial laws to seize land, often at unfair prices. Protests and unrest have followed, with opponents facing intimidation. The project has deepened Nicaragua's political divisions. It pits national progress against the rights and livelihoods of those in its path. The social fabric is at risk. The environmental stakes are immense. The human cost is impossible to ignore. Dr. Margaret Myers, an expert on China-Latin America relations, calls the Nicaragua Canal the ultimate high-risk, high-reward project for China. If successful, it would give China unprecedented influence in Central America, not just in trade, but in global power dynamics. But the risks are enormous. The $50 billion price tag may be low, and shipping analysts doubt the canal's profitability, especially with Panama's expansion. Political instability in Nicaragua adds to the uncertainty. If Ortega falls, the project could collapse. The U.S. response has been cautious, publicly downplaying the project but privately worried about a Chinese-controlled waterway so close to home. Open opposition could push Nicaragua further into China's arms. Environmental groups warn of irreversible damage to Lake Nicaragua, risking the nation's most precious resource for questionable gains. The project teeters between economic transformation and financial ruin, environmental disaster, and geopolitical upheaval. It's a gamble of historic proportions. The world is watching to see if China will double down or walk away. For Nicaragua, the stakes are existential. For the region, the outcome could reshape the future. The next move is critical. The world holds its breath. As of late summer 2025, the Nicaragua Canal remains a tantalizing possibility, one that refuses to die. The central question: will it ever be built, and at what cost? If China decides the strategic benefits outweigh the risks, construction could begin, triggering a new era of competition in Central America. The region's economic and environmental landscape would be changed forever. Or the project could stall again, crushed by logistical, financial, and political hurdles. It may remain a bargaining chip, leaving behind expropriated land and broken promises. The outcome is uncertain, but the stakes are global. This is about more than concrete and water. It's about the future of trade, power, and preservation. What do you think? Is the canal a path to prosperity or a road to ruin? Share your thoughts with #NicaraguaCanal. The next chapter is being written now, and the world is watching.